let's talk about Kelly Price, the woman who was missing when they said that she had COVID or something. I don't know what was going on. But anyway, Kelly Price is back in the news, and it's not about COVID. She's addressing Joycelyn Savage. That was the girl, Joycelyn, I don't remember her name, but anyway, she was the woman, Joycelyn Savage. This is the mother of R. Kelly's girlfriend, the one that was in the basement after she was being threatened. Now, Kelly took to Instagram Live and shared a clear and direct message to Joycelyn Savage, the mother of R. Kelly's girlfriend, Joycelyn Savage, and after she was threatened, and told her to tread lightly. And now it appears that Joycelyn was upset about some comments that Kelly made about parents taking their children backstage at R. Kelly's concerts to help them further their career in an interview on Vlad TV. So during this interview, she talked to Lunel, and this is what she said.
How do you feel about him being convicted on these 9 counts now?
I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I would say this, for as far back as the allegations go, and to know that there was a trial that he was acquitted in many, many years ago, if that was the behavior that he was partaking in and he continued to do it, when I go back to how I was raised, we were always taught that a warning comes before destruction. So
what sickens me is, he didn't do it by himself.
And that's the other thing I'm going to say. So in this business, and nobody really wants to talk about it, in this business, that's not odd. That's actually the culture. It's the culture. And now that I have seen that culture. I've seen mothers bring their daughters backstage.
Well,
and that's the thing that nobody wants to talk about.
That's the dirty part of it.
Yeah.
Is that every victim had a parent who was anxious to help them get into the lifestyle,
get into the business, make some money.
Well, we don't have the video of the mother who talked to Kelly because apparently that conversation happened directly, but we do have Kelly's response publicly because, of course, she had to get some views and comments out of it on Instagram. This is what she said.
Hey, I'm going to make this really, really quick. And I'm going live because if you're crazy enough to come and threaten me, I'm going to put you out there. Be really careful about telling me that I need to tread lightly if you're not prepared to back up what you say. Okay? I said what I said, and I can stand behind everything that I said. I was raped as a kid. I was also molested. I would never stand behind someone who is doing the same thing. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. I said what I had to say about R. Kelly. He's in jail right now. I also said that I believe that that's where he belongs because where there's smoke, there's fire. But please, Miss Savage, you threatened me. And you told me I should tread lightly. You don't know me like that. You don't know me like that. I have nothing to do with what your family went through. I wasn't around when y'all were around. I will never stand in the corner of a rapist. I will never stand in the corner of somebody who is violent towards women or children. But it sounds like a hit dog is hollering right now. I never said anything about your family. The statement that I made was about the industry as a culture, and I stand on it. Young girls and women, period, have not been safe in this business because they've been preyed upon. And people have known that girls that want a career, a lot of times, will do whatever is necessary to have one. Unfortunately, sometimes their parents want them to have one so bad that they will facilitate that process. Now, if that wasn't your mama, why are you worried about it? I never said I saw your mama backstage with you. Matter of fact, I actually didn't even say that I saw anybody. My exact phrase was, I never saw R. Kelly with underage girls. He never brought them around me. He never did anything like that around me. I said what I said. Be very careful. Don't start something that you can't finish, because I don't play that. You told me to tread lightly. I'm glad you said it, and I'm glad you said it openly. But if you're not that girl, don't make those kind of threats.
Well, we know, Kelly, that you got some Vaseline, a box cutter, and some boots. We saw you on R&B Diva, so we know you'll pull up and try to cut somebody. Listen, Kelly Price, you're a bully. I will never forget how she disrespected poor Whitney and just tried to get so much conversation said about her when she died, after we did that event the day before Whitney died. But, the thing about Kelly Price that you have to know, I look at her and I'm just so sad for her because I think about what would Beyonce do? This is a woman whose voice was literally crafted by God. Kelly Price is one of the best singers I've ever heard live ever.
Magical.
And she has such a talent, but she's so nasty and she's so manipulative. And like, what would Beyonce do? She wouldn't go to Instagram and talk to Joycelyn. Like, you got that much time in your day, you're probably not as booked as you used to be. You know, Sunday's Best isn't good enough, to be in your repertoire. And then, and aren't you a gospel singer? Like, you're not getting in heaven like acting like that. You know, put your Vaseline and box cutter down, girl, and go back in the booth. I don't know. I'm sick of talking about Kelly Price because it's always about her doing something shady. You remember we saw the pictures of her being pushed in a wheelchair when we couldn't find her after the COVID. Then she was out somewhere, getting in. I mean, the list of issues I have with Kelly Price at this point go on and on and on. And this video is an example of why that list keeps growing.
I'm conflicted about this one because, like, my favorite Kelly Price song is called Healing, which is ironic because I feel like she needs a healing. She might want to listen to that track herself. Kelly is a master manipulator. She also has a tendency to gaslight things and rearrange facts in a different order from which they happen in order to make herself look good. Because if you think about it, if someone came on talking about R. Kelly and said, R. Kelly and never bring no girls around me, and you know their mamas love to pimp them out to people anyways, I would be offended as someone who's the mother of a child who has allegedly been abused by him. So the way you said it, those two things tied together, it does sound like you're blaming the families. But for you to rearrange it during your clapback, that's manipulative because the mother had a valid reaction to something. But when you are trying to call her out and bully her because you think you have a bigger platform than her, and so you think, your gospel warriors are going to go after her, you rearrange the order of what you said to suddenly make her look crazy for something that made sense for her to be upset about. So to me, this was a classic case of gaslighting. I think a hit dog did holler, but I think it's a dog that was talking on camera. And that Kelly, be careful because the audience is smarter than they were in the 90s. You got away with that when you were singing Contagious and Mr. Big and all that good stuff. But it's 2022. We all have Wi-Fi and we know what gaslighting is. You should tread lightly for real. And I'm saying that. Don't make a video about me because I'll bark back. But go ahead, Jason.
I mean,
I don't need you to pass it back to me. I'll jump in when I got something to say.
Child, I'm mad.
It's all funny to me. I mean, at the same time, is Kelly Price right, wrong? I don't know. I know I don't take threats at all. So if you was to threaten me, I don't care what I said. I'll respond just like Kelly Price. But at the same time, I think for the Savage family, so many people have talked about this topic. And I just want to know, what was it about Kelly Price speaking on it that made her so upset? Because regardless if she was trying to gaslight or if she was trying to be malicious, it is true. The industry do prey on little girls, and it's an interesting situation. I'm not speaking specifically to the Savages, but there were women and parents, even fathers, bringing their daughters to R. Kelly to make them stars. And I think that's an issue within itself. I don't know anything about Kelly Price. I never met her. I don't know no background on her. But from what I'm hearing from y'all, clearly she is a bully. So, Kelly, you are into the gospel realm. That don't mean you ain't about that life, but move with peace. You know what I'm saying? You as a superstar, you don't need to be responding to threats online, because if anything happens, we're going right back to you. It's not smart. I don't care how much about that life you are. It wasn't a smart move.
Well, she has superstar talent. She's not a superstar, but she also owes me $900. So this is personal for me. And I do want my $900. Like, yeah. I mean, when I did the event with her and Whitney, I paid for the stage last minute because her ex-husband, who was like her Jay-Z at the time, bullied me into paying this extra money, and she owed it to me. And so I want my $900. Make it out to Hollywood Unlocked, period. I want my money. And since she is a part of the church community, can we just forgive Kim Burrell and bring her back and replace her with Kelly Price? Because at this point, I miss Kim Burrell, even though she don't like the gays. Oh, you know what else? I'll say this. I do blame the parents if they were aware what was happening. I don't ever think I could have a kid and just drop them off at an adult's house to like be there with them all day. Like, I don't know. Like, especially like a young girl with a man. Like, Jason, I'm not doing it.
Jason, I just had a birthday party for my son, and people do it. There were people dropping their kids off at our house to take them to the party, and I was like, I don't think I would ever do that. Like, I would have to be there, and people do this all the time. I think it's scary. For me, there was a young girl that was dropped off. I was like, she cannot ride with me. You got to protect yourself, but it's scary. And honestly, me having a young boy, I wouldn't drop him off at nobody's, nothing, no concert behind the stage, make him a star. It's not happening unless I'm right there. I'm not knocking no parents for what they did. I don't really know the stories of what anybody did, but I say specifically, I would never in my life drop my son off with anybody I don't know to do anything. It's not happening.
You guys, parents get groomed too, though. So I do need for context. If you think about the 90s, back in the 90s, and this was regular, this was normal. If you were a model in the 90s, because I had like a brief stint doing plus size modeling, they would literally take you and say, you know what, we're going to send you off to this place to do a shoot. And there's going to be a keeper who's going to watch you, but your parents have to stay home because we can't pay for them to be in the hotel. So you'd be like 15, 16, being taken to New York or London or California, wherever. And you were trusting because you were being glamored by these larger than life names who were saying, oh, it's going to be this shoot. It's going to make your career. You can trust us. We're big names. These are other people who have won. So it was really normal back in the day, actually, for you to see somebody and let your kids be around them. It was normalized back then.
I don't know that it was normalized. I don't think it was ever normal. And I just want to be very clear because that means you loved the perception of being close to this bigger, larger than life person than your own child. And the reality is some of you parents are tired of your children. You don't like them. You put them on leashes and let them run all over the malls. Okay, I see it when I go out. You know, again, some of you don't even like your children. You are tired of your children. You are exhausted by your children. So if they can go over there and play in R. Kelly's closet, you'll let them run out because you don't care about your kids. You don't check their homework. You don't make sure they have a nutritious meal. You give your kids NyQuil so you can get some dick. We know that some of you are tired of your fucking kids. And you know what? When they grow up and end up in a story on Hollywood Unlocked because you let some grown-ass man sing, oh, I don't see nothing wrong. Well, bitch, we see it now. And that's why he's in prison. And that's why you need to be right there next to him.